All right, I want to let you know, I internalized everything what you said, and I understand that you're on a path, you're trying to do better with your life. But sometimes sentencing is about punishment. Joshua Mackey. Joshua Mackey. Robert Flores. Joshua Alcaraz. Ruth Trevino. Rogelio Valera. All right, thank you. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. All right, Alyssa Hernandez. Have you had a chance to confer with the state on the violation report?
Oh, no, we didn't do that.
Do you have a copy of it or no? All right, this is the.
Oh, yes, I do.
All right,
The
if you'll,
second one? The second one?
it's the third violation
Oh, I don't
report.
have that one.
All right, if you'll confer with the state,
Okay,
and then that's my copy. If you want to make a copy and back, you can.
all right, thanks.
Jacob Moya.
Is it? All right.
All right, so it's my understanding on this case, the defendant had entered a plea, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And did you plead no contest? The reason why I
I'm not
say
sure
that,
There was no contest or guilty, Your Honor.
it was no contest? Okay, because it's not written. Just one moment. All right, let me. Just one moment, let me review the stipulations. Court is calling 2024 CR 0363, State of Texas versus Jacob Paul Moya. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Jonathan Ross for the defense, Your Honor.
And are you Jacob Paul Moya?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea on April 25th of no contest. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 12 months in the state jail facility. There is no application for community supervision, and the state is taking in consideration 2024 CR 3404 as your plea bargaining agreement. The court has had a chance to review the stipulations. The previous judge found that there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court is finding that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty as well, and the court will find you guilty. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
No, Your Honor, but.
Any objections to the PSI report?
No, no.
All right, do you have any witnesses?
Oh, we don't, Your Honor, just sorry.
All right, I'll hear argument from the defense, and while the state is reviewing the PSI report, I'll hear argument from them after the fact.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Mr. Moya has been pretty open and direct in his narrative of the incident. Pretty open about and I think pretty honest about his personal difficulties and issues with drugs and alcohol. He didn't emphasize them a lot, but I do believe that he understands them to be serious.
So translate for me, how does I have problems with drug and alcohol translate him to having been to prison before for robbery and having all of these cases, and according to what I read in the stipulations, stealing people's packages from mailboxes when people are waiting for their items and then they don't receive them because somebody has stolen them from mailboxes. I don't understand why the federal government is not involved because it's the theft of US.
Um, he's accepted guilt of that. We have no real justification for that, obviously, Ron. I was, the main 2 points that I would like to hit are that Mr. Moya, he's been in custody for about for 236 days now on this. He has been diligent in jail. He's not gotten into trouble in jail. He has been attending AA twice a week since February. Seems,
So I'm assuming you're gonna ask for something less than 12 months in the state jail facility.
respectfully, Your Honor, yes.
All right, so why should I give him something, and maybe he knows, why should I give him something less than 12 months in the state jail facility? He's already been, if this is correct, he's been to prison before for robbery. And what I'm looking at in the PSI report, he has a theft case. He got deferred for it. Criminal trespass, burglary of a vehicle, failure to identify, another theft case that was dismissed. I'm not going to consider that because it was dismissed. A burglary of a vehicle, second. Failure to identify that was taken in consideration. Failure to identify that was dismissed. Failure to identify that was dismissed. Assault bodily injury married, dismissed, missing witness. Possession, penalty group 3, less than 28 grams, dismissed because there was no toxicology report. Evading arrest, detention, dismissed, placed on some other form of probation. Theft of $100, enhanced jail time. Burglary of a building, rejected, further investigation. Possession less than a gram, sentenced to 5 months. Another possession less than a gram, placed on probation, revoked. A theft case, sentenced to jail. Fraudulent possession of identifying items, probation terminated. Robbery, sentenced to 2 years in the prison. Another fraud case that was dismissed, convicted of other. And burglary of a vehicle with 2 convictions, sentenced to 6 months in the state jail. Then you have this case. So why should I consider giving him less than the 12? You want to raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Jacob Moya, Jacob Paul Moya.
All right, what would you like to say?
Your Honor, I understand the severity of my charges. I understand my history, and I'm not trying to justify anything that I've done, but I mean, I have learned how severe this can get that I don't want to go away. I mean, this time it's just 12 months, I know, but next time it could be longer, and I'm not trying to see the next time. I'm not trying to do this. I see how this is. I'm not trying to do this. I can honestly say, I know I caught the charges just recently, but I do now think a little clearer, and I don't think how I was when I picked up the robbery or those other charges. I'm not that same person, and I don't want to be that person. I'm trying hard to push away from being that person.
I don't know why it's so hard not to steal.
Honestly, Your Honor, it's there. I think it's just easier to do it. I know people work hard for what they got.
I don't know why people don't want to work anymore.
No, I was working, Your Honor. It was actually that week. I wasn't working. I wasn't home. But
So other people who were at work, because see, I want you to internalize what you did. Other people who were at work, waiting for their packages to delivered. Maybe it's somebody's birthday gift. Maybe it's something somebody's mom sent to them. Maybe it's something a family member sent to them that can't be replaced. And there's somebody just waiting for the postman to drop items in the mailbox so they can steal it. Taking somebody's vehicle, breaking into a vehicle, stealing items. That's some item that somebody worked hard for. I always would tell, I've been a defense attorney. I would have clients They say, I don't have a job. I'm like, yeah, you do. They're like, what's my job? I'm like, you break into people's homes, you break into people's cars. That's your employment. While people are at work, you break into their house. Because I would always give my clients home truths to tell them, you need to look at what you're doing to society. You're a person in society that people have issues with because they're out here working hard, following the rules, and you're breaking them and breaking it in somebody's mailbox. I still don't know why the federal government doesn't start arresting people, because interference with the postal service, stealing mail, that's a federal offense. If you read the letters, even when a letter comes to your house and it's supposed to be in somebody else's mail, but the postman put it in your mailbox by mistake, you know what it says on there? It has a law on there about if you open this and it is not for you and you take it and you don't just put it back in the box, return to sender. Me personally, I always just drive around the corner, knock on my neighbor's door. Hey, they put this in my box by mistake. If it's junk mail, I just put it back in the mailbox because nobody wants junk mail really. But that's what you've been out here doing. And now you come to the court, you want sympathy saying you've learned. And I'm sure, hopefully, when you went to prison for robbery, did you learn anything from that experience?
Honestly, Your Honor, I'm not trying to justify, like I said, but when I went to prison, I was put in some difficult positions where I can honestly say, like, I've prayed that a lot of people that are about to go to prison, probably younger than me, don't experience or seen the stuff that I saw.
Now, here's the thing. I know horrible things happen in prison. It would be nice if people could be left alone, just do their time in prison and learn. But prison, really, the only way to be rehabilitated, I see in prison, if you're like 100% about rehabilitation. I know people in prison, guess what? They get beat up. People in prison get their commissary taken from them. People in prison get raped. People in prison will rape people in prison. Then they get out and they go back to their wives, their family member, acting like nothing ever happened. Oh yeah, I just raped him because guess what? We're in prison. This is what we do. I understand prison is a horrible place to be. Bear County Jail is a horrible place to be. I had clients who were over there who were bit by spiders. Next thing you know, they have a hole in their leg. It happens. It's a shame it happens. There's nothing I could do about that. If there is something I could do about it, I would be right in there doing something about it. So I understand prison is not a fun place. And honestly, it's not supposed to be a fun place. Some people say, when I'm released from prison, guess what? I have to watch my back 24/7 because I'm used to in prison watching my back 24/7 because you never know who's coming after you or what they're going to do. I understand. But you get out of prison, which you say was a difficult time for you, and then you come out and you still do this.
Well, Your Honor,
If,
Oh,
if I could, just interject, on my bad.
yes.
I do understand, I wasn't on drugs when I had committed the offense, although I'm not trying to justify it. Since I've been in Bear County, I'd like to point out, I spoke with my lawyer, he said it would be a good idea. I was a painter from January, February, and I just recently stopped doing that. It was for a corporal. And then her husband, which is a sergeant for jail programs, hired me to do mattresses, and they actually said that since I've been doing such a good job, they want to move me to the main jail to show the people, the other inmates, how to do it, because they're already going to be done with it there. They're starting like an initiative to I guess eliminate the damage of beds, to make them and clean them. And I mean, I like that, me doing that, working. That's honestly, I've lined up a job for when I get out. I'm really pushing forward to sticking to that plan, because honestly, I like the energy and just how I am, how I am as a person when I'm working and I'm doing something productive.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. I want to let you know, I internalized everything what you said, and I understand that you're on a path. You're trying to do better with your life. But sometimes sentencing is about punishment. And so I'm going to give you the 12 months. I'll give you credit for any time served. I'm going to take in consideration 2024 CR 3404. Did you review the trial court certification with your attorney? Did you sign it?
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, You do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you're released from the state jail facility, if you think you want to use drugs, if you're trying to find a place to stay, if you're trying to find a free place for rehab and you can't find it, if I'm still here, you can come back here. I will pick up the phone, call somebody with resources so that you cannot come back here again for this type of situation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Option, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Dylan Bell,
Yes, Your Honor, present.
all right, this is sentencing.
Yes, that's correct, Judge.
All right, and state on this one, the court had a question, or the court wanted the criminal history and whether there was any gang affiliation.
Also, Your Honor, it's a housekeeping matter of, I was appointed less than 10 days, so I don't know if on the record we need to address that before we begin.
Oh, no, we did address it on the, because he wanted to go forward with sentencing. I said, please don't do this because,
I remember, yes.
yes, but we'll put it on the record as well. Well, before we go on the record, Mr. Bell, would you like to give your attorney more time to prepare a mitigation packet for you? All right, have you had a chance to discuss with him about mitigation?
I have, Your Honor, yes. We've discussed that at length ever since being appointed on the case.
All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 3093, State of Texas versus Dylan Christopher Bell. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense,
Renee Munoz.
are you Mr. Bell?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Mr. Munoz, you were appointed to represent him. I know from our last time we were here, the court sort of insisted that he give you more time to perhaps present mitigation evidence for him
Yes.
and at least give you 10 days. I know he was balking a little bit at that, but ultimately he decided to give you more time. Is there something you would like to place on the record?
Yes, Judge, just briefly, I did speak with my client about the 10-day notice requirement for substitute counsel on a matter that's being set, especially something like sentencing. Did stress the importance of allowing me time. We have met on that date as well as today, and I have been working on his case aside from that. So speak with my client about those preparations made. I believe he's comfortable to proceed at this time, Judge. He's been in custody for the last 177 days pending this charge. So I think that's his wanting to get the sentence done over and done with, Judge, but we're respectful of the court's consideration, allowing us time that we need.
All right, thank you. And counsel, were you able to review the criminal history?
Yes, I was, Judge.
All right, state. All right, according to the plea that you entered into on May 9th, you entered a plea of no contest. The court found that there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court deferred finding of guilt as you had applied for deferred adjudication and for community supervision. According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. The state is opposed to your application, and this will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 727864. All right, state, you're opposed?
Yes,
State, you may present.
we don't have any witnesses, Your Honor, but argument.
All right, defense, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor, only argument as well.
All right, state, I'll hear your argument.
Yes, Your Honor, just due to the fact that this is a burglary of a habitation, this person actually was inside the home when it was burglarized. The reason that we have a reduced sentence here, the state believed that they took into consideration of the fact that the individual left after he was yelled at by the homeowner, but also tried to take the car. And that's where the restitution of $248 comes from, Judge. So that's why the state is opposed.
All right, defense.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 21 years old. He's had no previous felony convictions. In fact, he was placed on deferred adjudication on the misdemeanor case. My estimation is they're wanting him to pay restitution on it, learn from it, grow from it, Judge. And speaking with my client, I spoke to him about his upbringing because the juvenile offenses did want me to.
All right, everyone, please make sure you whisper.
The juvenile offenses did want me to delve in deeper as to his home life was like back then. He stated that he did not ever have contact with his father whatsoever. He had two brothers and a sister, and his mom was raising them all. Admittedly, she worked full-time to support and raise them, so we didn't have a lot of parental supervision growing up. Essentially, he would go to school, go home, hang out with his friends, do drugs, skateboard, do things of that nature. He started off using marijuana and cocaine at the age of 15 with some peers that he was hanging around with. And that usage has progressively gotten worse and worse over time. He's admitted to me, and he's being honest and truthful with the court, doesn't want to shun that. He had been using methamphetamine quite often. At the day in question of this offense, he was high on methamphetamine. He stated that he wanted to get the car just to go somewhere and drive so he didn't have to walk. He didn't want to resell it, didn't want to do anything with that. So just the nature of that has me going to the fact that I don't know what he was going through his mind at this time, but obviously it wasn't rational thought. He was in the house. He admittedly saw through someone there, wanted to get out, try to get the keys, try to take off in the car. But none of that was done. Nothing violent was done. It was not assaults. It was not him wanting to prey on another person. It was just him, I believe, being high on methamphetamine, and there's a causal link between the offense and those dependency issues, Judge. He's 21 years old, still going through some immature thoughts and facts. He's been in custody ever since this offense took place on December, Judge. So he's been in the Bexar County Jail 177 days. He's had a lot of time to think about his life. He's never been confined like that, and he has never been to prison before. I think that was a good shock to his senses that he was in custody for that long. He stated that he wants help with methamphetamine usage to get a handle on that, on those issues that we believe are causing him to appear in the criminal justice system, Judge. It was placed on deferred adjudication, county court number 8, cause number 723371. He was granted 6 months deferred on that case, Judge. Being that the DAs offered him deferred adjudication and didn't merely time serve him, I think goes to an indication that they want to work with him on a community supervision basis. I do know that the listed offense is serious, being in someone else's home, and I did stress that with my client. He stated that, you know, if he had the opportunity to get help in the future, he can see clearly, he can be a contributing member of society and not a detriment to society where they're having to pay for his stay at TDC, but instead allow him to grow and address the root causes of his issues, Judge. So this is why we're respectfully asking for the chance of community supervision. He's been in custody for the last 6 months. He's 21 years old, never been previously convicted of a felony, Judge. So I don't think it's too late to help this young gentleman to change it, hopefully change his life around.
All right, so here's my question. He's had violent offenses in the past, is that correct?
I believe just one assault family member.
He was an assault that's not associated with this case, and he also has an assault public servant that I believe was dismissed.
That was dismissed, Judge. That's correct. I believe the juvenile offense was when he was when the misdemeanor assault was when he was a juvenile, Judge, and he was on juvenile probation for that. I just think that the lack of supervision at a young age, not having his father and having his mom just work a full-time job and then have the 3 kids that he wasn't supervised. He thought he could do whatever he wants. No, there's society, there's rules, there's laws. And, you know, he fell in with the bad crowd, starting using drugs progressively, cocaine when he was 15. He's never had the chance for drug treatments. So we're just asking for a chance at some treatment, Judge. We don't believe he's going to get the sufficient drug treatment at the Texas Department of Corrections.
Oh, they have the therapeutic community, but
I just need for the juvenile assault public servant. He was on a top of probation.
all right. Anything you wish to say? You want to raise your right hand? You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Dylan Christian Bell.
All right, you need to keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear.
Your Honor, I've been thinking about everything I did through the stay in jail, and I just haven't had the chance to go through treatment. And I believe that this offense that I committed was because of me being on drugs and I wasn't in the right state of mind. And I've been thinking about it long and hard for the last 6 months that I've been incarcerated. And I just don't believe that prison is gonna be the thing that helps me.
Oh, a lot of people, I can tell you this, everybody over in the box, they don't think prison is going to help them. I don't know anybody
Yes, ma'am.
who goes to prison who thinks it's going to help them. Even people who are charged with murder and are found guilty of murder. You know, at some point you could get probation for murder. And I know some people who have been convicted of murder, and you know what they say, you know, prison is really not the place for me. It's really not going to help me. I need to be on the outside.
And Judge, I think that also something he's alluding to, that if convicted and put into prison, he would be a convicted felon at his young age and trying to get a job and trying to do anything with housing, he's just going to be pretty much kept down in society. Whereas if given, say, a deferred, it's not a final conviction, he can work his way off to that, pay restitution, make things right, do community service, get back to the community. And that would be a good test of him. I've already explained to him that if he doesn't fulfill the terms of deferred, that she can send you to the full range of punishments and indiscriminately send you to TDC, but he's asking for an opportunity to make it right, make the community better, and also make himself better, to not just be a detriment where he's cycling in and out of the criminal justice system because he's had a conviction, he can't get a job. So we're asking for just at least the slightest hope to keep his record somewhat clean, and have him work his way off this deferred over the years for hopeful dismissal.
All right, any questions, State? I have a question. Why are you in red?
I'm in red because I'm in segregation.
Why are you in segregation?
In segregation, because I had gotten into the fight and they punished me. More so I had gotten assaulted, but they had punished me and put me into segregation for 15 days.
Last time, Judge, he had the bruise under his eye, remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. All right, so if the deputies were to let me know why you're in segregation, would what you're telling me
Yes, ma'am.
comport to their system?
Yes, ma'am.
If,
Yeah.
if Tyler, the Odyssey system will let us see that?
That would be nice, yes.
All right,
Good idea.
Deputy Laura?
Is this for, he's in red for disciplinary?
Reference to that probably, but let's just know.
I don't know if that's the case or not. All right, just have a seat. I need to think about this for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Who's here on Christian Smith? Christian Smith? Oh, that's the one where we're trying to figure out.
To the two people that are in charge of pretrial diversion program, Judge, I'm waiting for that response.
All right, so Christian Smith, just wait a moment with us. Do you have to go to work or something? All right, so this is what we'll do then. We'll go ahead and give you a reset, and then we'll contact your attorney if you actually need to come back on that day or not. All right. Norma, on Christian Smith, if you give him the June 11th reset date, and then we'll see what happens. He needs to go to work. Moses Ross? All right, where's his attorney? All right, so as soon as that happens, we'll take care of it. Krinky Von Fume? Who's the attorney?
Mr. Smith?
All right, so on this one, thank you. They're not ready, just file that. They'll come back on that one. They're not ready, just file that. Because there are too many files up here. Oh, this one, I'm done. Michael Shoemaker? All right, are you all ready to proceed on the motion?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, court is calling 2019 CR 11017W, State of Texas versus Michael Paul Shoemaker. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel S. Clark with State Index.
Defense?
Sean Henderson for the defense.
And are you Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and cause number 2019 CR 11017W with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you the same Michael Paul Shoemaker who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 11017W for the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, less than a gram in a drug-free zone. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violating condition number 7 on or about the 23rd day of May 2024 at the Port of Galveston, Texas. The defendant, Michael Paul Shoemaker, part of Bear County without the written permission of the court and or the supervision officer in violation of condition number 7.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objections to the waivers?
No objection, Judge.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 7, the court could find it true, find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 7?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 7 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it's to alter and amend for MRT within 10 days and GPS for 90 days.
All right. Defense, is that the proposed agreement?
It is, Your Honor, and I do want to let the court know, my client lives in St. Hedwig here in Bear County. He works as a heavy equipment operator in Bernie and Kendall County.
All right, so why is he leaving Bear County without permission?
Judge, he was actually going on a cruise, and that was the reason he had left Bear County.
Was that cruise approved by the court?
It was not, Judge.
So is there anything you wish to say?
No, Your Honor.
It would probably be in your best interest, but okay. Probation, what are you recommending?
Probation's recommending the MRT program.
All right, and so this number 1 that's in the motion, I'm not going to consider it as true, but what is happening to the new number 1?
Judge, my understanding is that that was out of Galveston. That's ours. I didn't see
Okay.
anything pop up.
And that is correct, Your Honor. The new case is out of Galveston County.
So what is happening with that case?
It's currently pending, Judge. I don't represent him on that, and so I don't know what ultimately is going to happen with that case, Your Honor.
I'm not going to take that in consideration and not consider it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to consider it or take it in consideration since the state waived it, but allegedly,
Are you asking what the new number 1 is, Judge?
yes, who is
or-
the violation of a protective order with? Did he go on a cruise with the person he's not supposed to be with, allegedly?
Allegedly, yes, Your Honor.
So where do we, off the record, where does it come in that he violated a protective order? How did that happen? Did people go on a cruise and things didn't end well?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Did he go on the cruise? Because you're saying allegedly he went on a cruise that he had a protective order against. He went with that person on a cruise.
He did, Your Honor. And so when he got on the cruise, since the cruise was leaving the country, Judge, I believe they go through and check everybody's passports. And it was during that process that they found there was a violation or that there was a protective order in place with the person that he was going on the cruise with.
Oh, and he didn't get to go on the cruise? They
He did
stopped him?
not, he did not. It was right after boarding, Judge, that that he was removed from the cruise.
Did he pay for the cruise of the person who he has a protective order against?
Yes, Judge.
He paid for it, or the person who he has a protective order against paid for it?
Both.
Both of y'all paid for it. Did they give you a refund?
No, ma'am.
Okay, this is just questions that I have. I'm always curious about things. All right. We can go back on the record. You want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Michael Paul Shoemaker.
All right, why do you have the tape around your wrist? What's going on?
So and when you get booked in the main jail, it's every stage you go through. And I just didn't take it off. They took me straight over this morning, so.
Okay. All right, this is probation's recommendation and the state's recommendation. What I'm going to do is deny the motion. Is this his first motion to revoke?
I believe it's the second, Judge.
I'm going to deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to ISF cognitive. And with regards to his transfer, does he need his probation transferred?
No, he's living here in Bear County, Judge, so he doesn't need probation transfer.
All right, he's going to remain in custody until transferred. And has he done anything on probation? Has he completed the parenting classes?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, is there anything else?
No, Judge, not at this time.
All right, upon release, you need to immediately report to probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are not allowed to leave Bear County without the court's permission. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Just have to leave the-